Hi there, this is Paige with Stamp Girl here on YouTube, and welcome to my channel. In this video I am sharing with you some alternative card ideas that I created using the February paper pumpkin kit called Lovely Day. And I'm doing this along with Deb, who is Deb Hauk's Crafty Cottage here on YouTube. We like to take our paper pumpkin kits and see what kind of alternative cards that we can make. So the card kit made 9 cards this month, and you got all the card bases and all the little cutout pieces, and then it always comes with a stamp set and a little ink cube, and then it comes with coordinating envelopes. And this is what the cards look like for the directions that they give. And I know Deb did an unboxing of her paper pumpkin kit, and she showed her making each of the cards step by step the way the instructions tell you to. And then one nice thing about this little brochure is it not only tells you what's inside your kit, but it also tells you coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors. So you can pull out other inks, other cardstocks, and whatever, ribbons, whatever you have that would match. And then on the back they also give some alternate ideas to the other card instructions. So let's see, I think I'll show you what's inside the box last, but let me show you the cards that I made. So these were the first 3 cards that I made, and this time we got these foam rose gold foiled foam stickers in words. So all of these 3 say lovely. We also got some banner die cuts that have rose gold foil on it. And then the kit also came with sequins, and it came with these little die cut flowers. So I'll start with this one. So I took the die cut flower and I just trimmed down the negative piece that it came from and mounted it onto some petal pink cardstock. And then I took the die cut flower and put it back into where it was punched out, but on dimensionals, so it's raised. I went over all of my flowers and images with this Nouveau glitter gloss pen. Then I just decorated with some of the sequins that came in the kit. A lot of the sentiments I used were from other stamp sets, just because I didn't want to make all of mine birthday cards. I wanted them to say some other things as well. Then I followed is it Connie Stewart, who always does those cute little ribbon knots? So I did some ribbon knots on some of my cards. And the inside I stamped the flower again. This one was stamped in not Rococo Rose because I wanted a lighter color. And I didn't have Blushing Bride or Petal Pink ink, so I might have used Blushing Bride ink. Anyway, I used a lighter pink. And then this is a scrap of one of these papers. And this background paper was actually a card base. I like to use my own card bases and use theirs for layering pieces. So anyway, here's one card that says "You are lovely." For this card, I took 2 of the negative pieces that the flowers punch out of, and I glued them together to make it a little bit sturdier, and I popped that up with dimensionals. And then I took the flower and poked it back down into the opening. This was one of the card bases that I cut apart, and this was one of the card bases that was cut apart. This was probably maybe the second half to that card. And then again, went over the flower with this glitter gloss pen, added some sequins, and then the front says "Your lovely smile," and on the inside says "Makes me smile." And this card is a fun fold card base, and so this was one of the pieces here from that card that I cut apart. And then a scrap of paper. And then this ribbon I had in my stash. I'm not sure if it's Stampin' Up! Or not, but I found it near some other little bits and pieces of Stampin' Up! Ribbon, so I pulled that out to use down there. And then here's some more of that ribbon that I tied into a bow. Now this is the card base that is a fun fold, so it opens up like that, and you can tuck it in like that to keep it closed. So for this card, I used a CC Designs stitched oval die, and I die cut some white vellum. And then I had a square of this vellum. This is the exact square I had left. And I thought the color went so nicely with the color of the flower that I decided to use it. So I just layered it on top. And then on one of the banners I stamped your, and then used one of the stickers that says lovely. So you're lovely. And the flowers popped up and also highlighted with the glitter gloss pen. So that's the third card. Then there were 3 cards that had card fronts that had these cute little eyelet borders to it. And so the stamp set that comes with the kit has a flower that lines up with the pre-colored card front. And then this little piece right here is a separate stamp right there. So I just used my stamp positioning tool and lined up the flowers on one card front, and then just replaced the other 2 card fronts without removing the stamps, so they'd all stamp out the same. I added some diamond stickles to the little berry-like pieces, and then I added the glitter gloss pen to parts of the flower petals and to this one. Here's another little ribbon knot. This was a different ribbon that I found in my stash, a little piece of it close to the same color, so I used it. And then I've got some of the sequins from the kit. And then this one says wishes, and I stamped birthday with Rococo Rose. And then the inside is just some of the ribbon down at the bottom. So this one is pretty much the same, except instead of a white card base, I used a petal pink card base. And I really like this one. I really like that extra touch of the petal pink to coordinate with what's inside of the pre-printed card front. So again, a little ribbon knot, some sequins, the diamond stickles, little foiled foam sticker, and then this one I layered the card front that I cut apart there. I put the second piece on the inside. And then this one I used the word celebrate and then stamped out the word you. And then I had this sample of ribbon, and again it might be from Deb Hauk, I'm not sure. Anyway, I found it, and I was so excited because it matched that petal pink color so nicely, and I think these 2 are probably my favorite cards. But anyway, here's the inside. And then the next cards that I have to share with you are these. So there was I don't know if I can find it. Let's see. I wasn't real thrilled with this card front. I don't know why. It just didn't really appeal to me. So I changed it as much as I could. So on this one, I turned it over to the back side, and what I did is I used a circle die that cut out. There's a little piece that punches out and then you're left with that scallop showing. So I used a circle die that was just almost the same size and cut that out. And then I turned that card front over and ran it through a swirly embossing folder, and then I put back that little scalloped ring that I had originally die cut with a circle. And then this cake is one of the pieces in the card kit. And then the stamp set has the little cake layers to stamp. And then I had out on my desk, because I was using it for a different project, an older paper pumpkin kit called Broadway Star or something like that, and it had little candles in there that were green, and I thought the green was close enough, so I just added those candle stickers. And then I went over the white frosting and flowers and candle with the glitter gloss pen. And this was a sample of ribbon that I was given, and so I used that. And then this cardstock, is that Pool Party that matches? Pool Party, yes. And then the inside, this was one of the card bases, this very back layer, and then Pool Party, and then the embossed white. And then I just Pool Party white, and then I used some of that ribbon and backed it with the scrap of Pool Party cardstock. Okay, so for this one, this was one of the card bases that I had cut apart, and I took some. Oh, let's see if I can find it. There is this rose gold all-purpose ink. I believe it came in the Everything is Rosy product medley. And I put it into one of these little Stampin' Up! Misters and added some alcohol. I've had it in here for a long time, so I just shook it up, and then I put this panel into a scrap box and sprayed it with this rose gold spray. I don't know if that's going to show up. This was this piece right here on one of the cards that I had cut apart, and I just put it through the banner punch from Stampin' Up! Here's some ribbon. I made a little knot at the top. I had some pink pearls in my stash, some pale pink pearls, and I used those. Went over the cake with the glitter gloss pen. That's pretty much it for that. Oh, this is a piece of pink vellum that I cut with stitch circle die from Stampin' Up! And then this is just a regular circle die from Stampin' Up! And then I added ribbon to the inside of that one as well. This one, this card was inspired by Mary from Cards TV. She did a offset gatefold card, and when I watched her, I had this cake left and a card base, and I thought, that's what I can make with that last cake. So I just cut a piece of Pool Party, cut apart one of the card bases. This is layered onto that card base piece and popped up with dimensionals. Of course, the glitter gloss pen again in sequins. I did Celebrate down the side and some more sequins, and then the card opens up. And this was one of the card fronts that I didn't really care for. I don't know why. I backed it with one of the card base pieces. I used the flower stamp from this set and stamped it. The word "you" came from a different stamp set altogether. I stamped that in Pretty Peacock. This I stamped in black and then colored in with blends, Rococo Rose Light and Old Olive Light. And then this piece, and I wonder if I have an extra one. This is the piece that punches out. So I just placed it back in there and did the stamping for the inside. So there's that card. And then I was inspired by a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Her name is Elaine, and for the life of me, I can't remember what her YouTube channel name is. Is it Elaine's Creative Cards or something like that? Anyway, she used this card front and she trimmed it down. And I thought that was such a clever idea because I had one of those card fronts left and I had stuck it in the box thinking, well, I have a card front left. And so I took Rococo Rose card base, some Pool Party cardstock, one of the kit card bases that I had trimmed down. I trimmed down this card front, so just a portion of the little banner is showing, and I turned it around so the banner, this part, is right down here, and I covered it up with the word wishes. And I used one of the foil labels, but I trimmed it down so that wishes was underlined because I didn't want a longer piece with wasted space, and I didn't want to go over into the circle, so I just cut a little portion off. This, I put Rococo Rose, excuse me, and I'm losing my mat here. Jeez Louise. I put Rococo Rose behind the square and then die cut a circle, pop that up with dimensionals. But first I stamped this birthday and flower at the same time and then colored with light Rococo Rose blend and light Old Olive blend. And then for the inside I just layered Pool Party, a card base, and some white cardstock. So that is my last card. Now I was telling you that on the back they show alternate ideas. So I had one of these card bases left, and that they made like a little treat bag or treat box. And so I did score and fold mine to make the little box. I ran out of things to decorate with unless I put this on here and maybe stamp as much of that flower as I can get on, or this little one again. I haven't decided. So I have one unfinished project left to do with this piece right here, but I'm sure I'll think of something. I just didn't think of it in time for this video. But let me show you what I have left in my box. This is what I have left from the paper pumpkin kit. This came in, it just talks about how some celebrate coordination items coordinate with this paper pumpkin kit. I do not have any of those, so didn't use them. And then talking about what's coming up in the paper pumpkin kit for next month. But this is what I have left. So I have the Rococo Rose Stampin' Spot, and that'll go with my where I keep all my other Stampin' Spots by color. I have the stamp set, and that'll go where I keep all my paper pumpkin stamp sets. I have these two punch outs. I'm not sure if I'm going to save them or put them in the recycle bin. I have these little scraps of card bases, and these will most likely go into the recycle bin, as will these pieces right here. I've got a full sheet of labels left. Here's the label that I cut smaller for that one card where I just used the word wishes. I just cut off one end, stamped wishes, and then trimmed it off again. But I'm going to save that because I can use that another time. So I have those labels. So I keep all my extra paper pumpkin parts in old paper pumpkin boxes. I have them labeled like card bases, envelopes, labels, die cuts, etc. So I'll save those. Here's the coordinating envelopes for the cards. So when I put the cards away by category, I'll put that envelope with them. And then I have sequins left. So with all of this, I'm down to an empty box, and that very rarely happens for me. But what I do is I take these boxes, I turn them inside out, and then I use these boxes for storage. They're also good for mailing gifts, and just turned inside out. So that's what I'll do with this one as well. I'll turn it inside out and then use it to store things on a shelf. So I'm not really getting rid of a whole lot of paper pumpkin boxes, but I'm creating other storage containers for cards or bits and pieces that I have in my stash. So anyway, look at this mess I've got now. So here are my cards, an unfinished project, and I'm sure I'll get some inspiration somewhere along the way for that. And there it is. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me. I will leave a link down below to Deb's channel, and please check out her alternate projects for this month. And now I'm off to create.